The next property that we're going to be talking about is when you have three parallel lines that are cut by two transversals. Whoa, that's like a lot of transversals and parallel lines. But it's going to work out. So let's see here. So if we have three parallel lines that are cut by two transversals, then they will divide the transversals proportionally. So what that means, if you have these three parallel lines cut by two transversals, it will divide up the transversal segments into two proportionate parts, which is really amazing in my opinion. So you could say like A over B, you could go like down the two transversals, so A over B equals C over D, or you could go like across the two transversals and kind of heading in the same direction as the parallel lines. So you could say A over C equals B over D. And if you do it both ways, you will get the same answer. So you kind of get to pick which way do you want to solve this problem, and from there you'll get the same answer. So let's get going. So in our next two examples, again, we have these three parallel lines cut by two transversals, and we need to solve for the missing parts using a proportion. So again, when we have proportions, that means they are going to cross multiplying. So get excited. Let's get going. Okay, and again, it's frozen. Okay, it's kind of frozen still. Please stop being frozen. Okay, sorry you guys. All right, let's get going. So I have three parallel lines, which I know that these lines are parallel because of these sneaky little arrows right here. So I have three parallel lines cut by these two transversals, which means I will have proportionate parts on my transversals. Okay, so again, there's two ways you can set up your problem. I'm going to show you both ways, but technically, you only have to pick one way. Okay, well, let's get going. So the first way, you could kind of go down the transversals. Okay, so I could say like 25 minus x over x. So 25 minus x over x will equal 16 over 4. The other way you could set up this problem, which the more ways you can set up the problem, the better, right? I know, I agree. Guys, so I could also go like across the picture, or I could go like in the same direction as my parallel line. So I could go this way. Okay, so I could say like 25 minus x over 16 equals x over 4. Okay, so again, you don't have to do it both ways, but I'm doing it to show you that no matter which way you pick, you will get the same answer for x. So let's get going, you guys. So on this one, before I start solving my proportion, remember, I want to try to reduce down any of my fractions, which looking here, I spot that I can reduce down 16 over 4. Okay, which 16 and 4 can both be reduced down by 4. I can divide 4 into each of these. So 16 divided by 4 will give me 4, and 4 divided by 4 will give me 1. Okay, and from here we can start solving. So it doesn't matter which way you go. Let's see, I'm going to start by going this way. Doesn't matter though. So x times 4 will give me 4x, and that will equal, dropping my markers. Jeez Louise, Miss Long. Okay, and I'm going to say 1 times 25 minus x, which remember, if you multiply 1 to anything, you will get the same answer. So 1 times 25 minus x is 25 minus x. And then from here, I just solve for x. So let's do it, you guys. Let's do it. Okay, so first, my x's are separated, so I must join together. So I'm going to bring my negative x to the other side, which the way I bring negative x to the other side is by adding it on both sides. So I'm going to add x on both sides. Okay, which negative x plus x cancels and turns to 0. Okay, 4x plus x. Now remember, there's secretly a 1 in front of my x. So 4x plus 1x will give me a 5x. So then I have, let's see here, 5x equals 25. Okay, I need to move the 5 to the other side, which the 5 and the x are secretly multiplying. So the way I bring 5 over is by dividing both sides by 5. And 5 divided by 5 cancel and turn to 1. And 25 divided by 5 will give me a 5. So x is 5. Okay, and again, I'm going to do the same thing here, and I'll show you that you get the same answer for x. So you can do it both ways, or you can pick which way is your favorite. So it's kind of a hard decision, though. I mean, I like going both ways, so, you know, it's kind of hard to pick sometimes. Okay, well, let's get going. So this time, I'm going to go, let's see, I'm going to start by going this way. So 16 times x will give me 16x. Okay, and that will equal the other way. So 4 times 25 minus x. Now, this time when I did over here, I know that if I multiply 1 to anything, I get the same thing. Since this isn't a 1, I'm going to write it like this. So I'm multiplying the 4 to this entire thing. 4 times the whole thing. So I'm going to group this thing in a parenthesis. Okay? So be careful. We're not just multiplying the 4 only to the 25 or only to the x. We're multiplying 4 to both of those. So just be really, really careful. All right, let's do this, you guys. So how do you deal with a number outside of a parenthesis? Holy hot dog, you guys would distribute. So I'm going to distribute it to both terms. So 4 times 25, well, if you have 4 quarters, that's 100 cents. So 4 times 25 is 100. And 4 times negative x is negative 4x. Okay? So I'm going to bring everything else over. Okay, I need to join together my x's, so I'm going to bring negative 4x to the other side, which the way you bring negative 4x to the other side is by adding it on both sides. With negative 4x plus 4x cancels and turns to 0. 16x plus 4x will give me a 20x. Okay, so I'm left with, let's see here, 20x equals 100. All right, let's tackle our last step. So 20 and the x are secretly multiplying. So the way that you bring 20 to the other side is by dividing that on both sides. So 20 divided by 20 cancels and turns to 1. And you're left with x equals 100 divided by 20. Well, 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so 100 divided by 20 is also going to be 5. So there you go. If you guys see, we got the same thing. Yes. So again, you get to pick which way do you like to solve. You don't have to solve it twice. I just did to show you that you get the same answer because sometimes it's really hard to pick which way you want to do it. So again, you can do it both ways or just one time. It's up to you. Nice job, you guys. Let's try example 4.